Vanakkam, this is Heart to Heart with Ungal RP. The topic for the day is Let It Go. Our daily morning routine surely consists of drinking a glass of water. Now, what would happen if you don't drink that glass of water but just hold it? You would be able to hold it for a few minutes before you begin to feel slight discomfort in your hand. If you hold it for an hour, the pain would become much more and your hands would start to shiver. If you hold it for 4 hours, your hands would become numb and paralyzed, and eventually you would drop the glass to the floor. Now, in all of this process, the weight of the glass or the water has not changed. But it is the fact that you held on to it that caused the pain. This is exactly what we do with our stress and worries too. Stress and worries hurt us more not because they become severe, but because we keep holding on to them and don't let them go. Now let me take you back to the 6th standard chemistry. I am sure all of you would be knowing sedimentation and filtration are two methods to get cleaner water. Now, if you take a glass of water with impurities to sit for a while, the impurities would settle down at the base and you would get the cleaner water at the top. Now, this is the process of sedimentation. Now, in filtration, if you pour the water through the filter would capture all the impurities and would let the pure water alone pass through. Now, while both the approaches are the right approaches to get cleaner water, in sedimentation, the impurities are still at the base. But in filtration, the impurities are completely gone away. People also handle stress in two different ways. Now, some of them handle it like the sedimentation process. They hide their stress and worries and handle life that way. Now, in short term, it may work. But the stress and worries are still in the background. So a better way to handle the stress and worries is like the process of filtration, where you remove your stress and worries completely off your system. Anything that causes you undue stress, whether it is with respect to work, relationship or lifestyle, it needs to be analyzed whether it makes sense to hold on to it or not. If you decide to let go of something, sometimes you actually end up feeling that you've made a mistake, you feel guilty about it, and you feel over time everything would be well. Well, necessarily not. This is a conscious choice that you need to make and not one out of haste. Sometimes when we decide to let go of something in our life, we feel that people would judge us, that we have chosen not to fight but just to give up. Well, it is your life and you know all the variables involved in it. And if you decide that's the best decision for you, you just need to let go of it without having the fear of being judged. Like what the Bhagavad Gita tells us, what has happened, what is happening, and what would happen is all for good. Well, it's easier said than done, but it can be practiced if we decide to. Now we move on to the Kutti story about 2 C's, which teaches us interesting lessons. We've studied at school that Dead Sea is high in salt content and human body can easily float in that sea. You can almost lie down and read a book. But such high salt content meant no vegetation, no fish and no sea animals. Hence the name Dead Sea. The other sea is the Sea of Galilee, which is just north of the Dead Sea. Now, both the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea receive their source of water from the river Jordan, but yet they are very, very different. The Sea of Galilee is pretty with rich and colorful marine life with lots of plants and fish. Now, how is this possible when the source of water is the same? The reason is that the river Jordan just flows in and out of the Sea of Galilee. That is, the water just passes through the Sea of Galilee in and then out. Now that keeps the sea healthy and vibrant with marine life. But what happens to the Dead Sea? The Dead Sea is far below the main sea level and hence does not have an outlet. So the river Jordan flows into the Dead Sea but does not flow out. There are no outlet streams. Now, it is estimated that around 7 million tons of water gets evaporated from the Dead Sea on a daily basis, leaving the Dead Sea with high salt content and rich in minerals, completely making it unfit for marine life. Now, in short, the Dead Sea receives the water from River Jordan but does not let it go. It just holds on to it. Now, do you want to be like the Dead Sea or the Sea of Galilee? While you think of all the stress and worry that you want to let it go, I'm signing off. This is Heart to Heart with Ungal RP.